Now You See Me, Now You Don't is an enjoyable movie for those who have been following the franchise, but if you have limited time and are being selective in your movie selection, you can easily watch it on the OTT later and you won't miss much. If you're not familiar with the franchise, you might find the movie a bit weird with a bunch of young and old magicians, so a little bit of homework might be in order, and then you would love the dialogue of the movie. The closer you look, the less you'll see. Now You See Me is a media franchise centering on a series of heist thriller films. The overall plot centers on a team of illusionists named the Four Horsemen who use their stage productions as a means of completing unfeasible and lucrative heists. In effect, they are Robin Hood thieves taking from the rich and distributing it to their audiences. The film features an ensemble cast including Jesse Eisenberg, Mark Ruffalo, Woody Harrelson, Isla Fisher, Dave Franco, Michael Caine, Lizzie Kaplan, and Morgan Freeman. The first edition, called Now You See Me, came out in 2013, and following its success, the Now You See Me 2 was dished out in 2016. 9 years later, the fans get the third edition called Now You See Me, Now You Don't. In the latest edition, we have an introduction of 3 more Gen Z illusionists joining the original Horsemen who are Gen Xers. So these new Gen Z illusionists use the presence of the original Horsemen via holograms and deepfake on stage to garner the audience. But the Robin Hood idea remains the same when the movie begins in a racy fashion and these illusionists hack a corrupt CEO distributing his cryptocurrency no less to the audience wallets, and all that looks impressive. And then the proverbial eye gets the original Horsemen to meet the new ones at a chateau in France because the old and the new illusionists must work together to beat the evil South African diamond company head Veronica Vanderburg by stealing the biggest diamond in the world called the Heart from her. And this is where the movie keeps you busy and entertained. It's a combination of heists and tricks, some of which look tacky, but you tend to believe it as the magicians and illusionists are given to be legendary and super talented, so nearly everything is possible via trickery, illusion, hypnotism, and sleight of hand. I'm sure the French police, though, will not be amused as they're taken down by a bunch of magicians with trickery and hand combat, which does look a little bit over the board. Throw in France and Abu Dhabi dazzle and some car chases and you get a quick rush. The good part of the Now You See Me movies is that the movies reveal the tricks to the audience so that it makes it more believable, however infeasible it might be in the real world. That combined with some action, nostalgia, clever dialogues, and bantering amongst the magicians make for an enjoyable viewing but somewhere lacks depth. Not that I'm complaining, but it just remains your typical popcorn flick which you enjoy and then forget. You don't think anything about anything after the movie, and probably that's okay. Not every movie needs to make you think later. Some are just meant for instant gratification, and that is where this movie serves you well. And for that reason, you can watch it anytime on OTT. You don't exactly need to rush to the theaters for that gratification. Like in all the Now You See Me movies, there's a plot inside a plot, which brings out the true motives of destroying an evil person like Veronica Vanderburg in the movie, and that's the case for the latest edition too, and it is quite tolerable and finally justifies the presence and the introduction of the new illusionists along with the older horsemen. You do end up remembering the signature dialogue from Atlas: "Don't assume you're the smartest person in the room, prove it," and then he does. The Gen Z illusionists are played by Justice Smith, playing the role of Charlie, who is an inventor of tricks, Dominic Sessa as Bosco, who is a lead impressionist, and Ariana Greenblatt as June McClure, a lockpicking pickpocket. All of them bring fresh energy onto the screen and look cool. There's good banter between them and the old illusionists, which is also entertaining. Like when the older illusionist makes fun of Bosco's name and Bosco comes back heavily on the logic of the name of Atlas himself is really funny. Justice Smith playing the role of Charlie looks subdued in the beginning but comes into his own towards the end, and you feel the gravity of his character. Dominic Sessa playing Bosco impresses with his raw energy and screen presence, while Ariana Greenblatt gives you the vibes of Selena Gomez. All of them are young, impressive actors, and I wish them all the best. The role of Veronica Vanderburg is played by Rosamund Pike, who dishes out some nice cold dialogues which look impressive, but she has a weird accent which sounds British at some moments and Irish at the others, but people tell me it is some kind of a South African accent apparently. But you do end up remembering her slick dialogue delivery and the cold boardroom meeting. I was trying to remember where I'd seen her last and homed in on to the Ben Affleck movie Gone Girl from 2014. The old horsemen are all there, bringing their charm. Jesse Eisenberg as J. Daniel, Danny Atlas, the arrogant and ostensible leader of the Four Horsemen. Woody Harrelson as Merritt McKinney, the oldest member of the Four Horsemen, specializing in mentalism and hypnosis. Dave Franco as Jack Wilder, the youngest member of the Four Horsemen, specializing in sleight of hand and cardistry. Isla Fisher as Henley Reeves, a sole female member of the original Four Horsemen, specializing in escapology. She's also Danny's former assistant and ex-lover. We even get to see Lizzie Kaplan as Lula May, a member of the Horsemen who was introduced as a replacement for Henley in the second film. And of course, we do see Morgan Freeman with a glove on his left hand as Thaddeus Bradley, a retired magician turned debunker and the former Grandmaster of the Eye, the secret society which the Four Horsemen work under. For good nostalgic value, we do see brief virtual appearance of Mark Ruffalo as Dylan Rhodes, a former FBI agent, the Grandmaster of the Eye, and the son of the late illusionist Lionel Shrike. Now, all of this would make sense to the audience who have watched the part 1 and 2 of Now You See Me franchise. Overall, a fun movie, but only just about that. Watch it, enjoy it, and forget it. Or maybe do a binge watching of all the 3 parts sometime. Now, that might be fun.